afternoon, and welcome to another episode of the RK Leadership Podcast, where we empower tomorrow's leaders through the sharing of knowledge, experience, and inspiring stories. I'm your host, Rob Cameronpour, and my special guest today is Hovig Tchaderian. Now, Hovig and I go back many, many years.
Long time.
Yeah. And so just for people to know Hovig's background, he was an MMA trainer and fighter, and he transitioned into the real estate world. So we'll talk a lot about that. We're going to talk about a lot of things, including, some mental health issues.
Amazing.
So we're going to have a lot of ups and downs in this podcast.
Cool.
So it'd be very interesting. So before we start, I wanted to thank you very much for being with me here today.
My pleasure, bro.
It's great to see you as always.
Always.
And so without further ado, why don't you tell the audience a little bit about yourself?
Okay, sure. So I'll just touch base on the stuff that you said. I taught martial arts for a long time. Helped open some gyms, run some gyms. It was a great time. You were there. You came as a member, right?
That's right.
Different time in the city back then, so different culture, different headspace for a lot of different people. So it was cool. It was a very cool vibe. The world changed, society changed, that culture changed. I changed, I grew, we all evolved, right? And obviously, there's always the option to open your own gym and do it all on your own and this and that, but that didn't really interest me. I wanted something a little bit more, challenging, diverse. I don't like really being confined to a certain space, let's say. And there was a few other things I got into. I got into a little bit of money lending. That was cool, and I still do that. And then I got into real estate. Right. And at first, when I first got my license, I thought, you know what, let me stay on the money lending side kind of thing. But then a buddy of mine who's now my business partner, he told me, he's like, yo, do it full force. Another gentleman I know who's a very successful man, smart guy, cool guy. He told me too, he goes, just do it full force, man. He goes, don't do it what you're planning. And so that's what I did. I pretty much dropped everything, went into real estate. And now it's really cool because now I'm at a place, even in real estate, where it's so easy, right? That I can dabble in other things. So my buddy at one of the clubs, he recently reached out to me. He's like, can you help teach a couple classes? So I teach a couple times a week, once or twice a week.
Nice.
So that's cool, right? And obviously because it's just it's almost like a volunteer basis, right? So I'm very detached from the whole thing. So I don't really care if people don't take it too seriously or not. But the culture is nice in the club. So that's where I'm at. I've been involved in fitness and business pretty much my whole adult life. And you just meet a lot of interesting people through both worlds.
That's right.
Right.
So I want you to help us understand, and I've been really wanting to know this myself, and I think I talked to you about it previously as well. And for all the listeners out there, when you're dedicated and you spend so much time and effort and energy in something like mixed martial arts or fighting, and you want to climb the ranks and do what you wanted to do, how do you all of a sudden just stop and say, hey, this is not, how do you wake up one day and say, this is not what I want to do anymore?
It's multifaceted, right? You don't just wake up one day. You wake up one day and you realize that you have a choice.
Yeah.
All right. And your choice is, okay, do I continue down this path and go all in? Right? Because you got to be all in. No matter what you do, you got to be all in.
You got it.
Right? And then the all in always changes because as you grow and you evolve, you realize that there's higher levels of yourself that you could put into something. Right? And around that time, the online world started really taking off and stuff. Right? So to have really blown up and listen, you gotta also understand my personality, me personally as a person, right?
Yeah.
Sky's the limit, bro.
Yeah.
Even fuck the sky. Am I allowed to swear here? Great. Yeah. Keep going. There is no limit. You know what I mean? So, in the world of martial arts, there's a few guys worldwide who have made it really big and they have huge online presence and all that. But you gotta, so I love the culture. I love what it is, right? But there's a little bit of, I don't know if it's fakeness, fraud, whatever you want to call it. And when I say fraud, I don't mean actual fraud. I just mean there's a fakeness to it per se, which unfortunately is prevalent throughout the whole world.
Yeah.
Right? Where, you got to kind of
show.
Yeah. And it's also, you have to really boost people up in that world. You have to boost them up and they're with you long time. right? So if you're in the martial arts or fitness world, you don't want somebody to be like a one and done. You have to really, you got to hook them on.
Yeah.
And you got to keep hooking them on. And you got to upsell. You got to upcharge. You got to keep going, right? So if you own a club, you got to sign up for a training. Then, you know, you want their family. You want their kids. You want their friends. You want them to do some personal training. You want them to buy meal plans from you. You want them to do online. Like it never ends, right? So there's a lot of babysitting involved in that. There's a lot of relationship retention, which is cool. Again, none of these things are bad, right? But I don't like that landscape. I don't like that idea per se. So when I was younger, I was growing up, I thought to myself, okay, cool. Like, this is what it is. And you're dealing with people on a very, like, no disrespect to anybody in the fitness community, but on a very, primal's not the right word, but on a very basic level, right? Like let's not fucking kid ourselves, bro. It's fitness. Like, you know what I mean? You don't got to be a fucking brain scientist to be in fitness. Right. Yeah. Whatever. Yeah. There you go. Right. So that doesn't interest me. Like that aspect turned me off, right? Because I like bigger, grander, cooler things. Yeah. Right. So then, you know, you start to ask yourself, okay, well, it's a cool lifestyle to be in that fitness scene. Okay. Whether you're a coach, a kickboxing coach, a gym owner, fitness and training, meaning like weights and stuff, aerobics gyms, yoga studios. It's cool.
That's right. Yeah.
Right. But like you're dealing with people on that level and like they look at you and that's what they think you are, right? Because that's what you are. You are who you present yourself to be, right?
Absolutely.
Not to say that being an agent in the city of Toronto is any better. Like that's like you're the scum of the city.
No
right?
comment.
Yeah. Well, I'm an agent. I can say that, you know? But regardless, right? Like that's what you're seen as, which is cool, right? But like if you want to be more, then you got to present yourself as being more.
That's right.
Right. So then like I wanted a little bit more of a challenge. I wanted something a little bit cooler. So like on the side, I used to do like a little bit of money lending and stuff like that. We're not gonna get too into it.
Not laundry. Lending.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Which was cool. But like, you know, I may have lent to the wrong types of people and stuff like that. So that's a story for not a podcast.
Another podcast.
Yeah. But you know, then you start to meet different types of people. You start to meet people from different walks of life that do different things and why they do certain things and whatever. Yeah. People wanted money to buy real estate. People wanted money to open businesses. But like it's a different world, right? You're not coaching people on what to eat and how to train and what to do, right? Now you're actually working with people. Like it's an actual business, right? Like, you know, whatever the transaction may be. And then like, you know, you deal with people, they want to buy real estate. You start thinking about real estate. I knew a few big developers in the city. I knew a few guys that were big in the real estate world, right? I liked how they were. I liked how they presented themselves. You know, cool guys, respectable guys. And I met them through training, right? That's the irony of it. And these guys would fucking work their asses off, man. So commendable, right? Yep. And like they wouldn't kill it 1,000,000% and they'd be wiped out. No, but they were consistent from start to end. They'd show up regularly, right? They'd consistently be training and they took their training seriously. They took their eating seriously, right? Yep. Everything was taken seriously. So it's cool. And like, that's the type of person I am. Like I take myself seriously, right? You could joke around. We could have some fun, of course. But like at the end of the day, respect is respect.
Absolutely.
Right. So yeah. So that's kind of how I didn't wake up and say, I want to be a real estate agent. Right. As the landscape was changing, I didn't want to change with it. I didn't want to get into the online world. I didn't want to be on my phone messaging people, meal preps, eat this, eat that, send me pictures of yourself. Let me see your body fat. Let me see this. Let me see that. Like, I don't like it. Yeah. Right? I think it's for me, it's too basic. Right. I don't
a bigger vision of doing something.
Yeah. And again, I don't knock on anybody for doing it. Like, I think it's really cool. I think it's necessary. I think people in the world should be doing it. Should get a trainer, should get a coach, whatever it is. Yeah. It's just not for me to be that person. Right. And so, yeah, so I kind of went into real estate and like, I decided I'm going to do it. Yeah, cool. Then I just booked the courses, did the courses, got my license. And then that's it. I just jumped in, man.
So you talk about, you know, the bigger picture, doing bigger things.
Yeah.
Now at the stage you're at in real estate.
Yeah.
What does that bigger thing look like for you?
In real estate itself or just in general?
In general.
So in general, like I've expanded out into different things, right? I don't want to get too much into detail because at the end of the day, whatever. But real estate wise, like I focus on real estate. That's what I do day to day. But it's not hard to be a real estate agent. Being a good real estate agent requires certain skills, right?
What are those skills?
Well,
in your opinion?
Well, you have to be able to communicate. Okay.
Correct.
You have to be able to understand your client's wants and needs.
Yes.
You have to be able to sift through bullshit.
Yeah.
Okay. You also have to be able to tell your client you're being unrealistic, right? And this is what you can afford. This is what you're going to get. Because otherwise, now
Be honest.
You have to be honest. You have to be open. Otherwise, you're setting expectations that aren't there.
Yeah.
And it's just going to be bad for everybody, man. It's going to be bad for me. It's going to be bad for the client.
Yeah.
Right. Other than that, you still have to be knowledgeable.
Yeah.
Okay. In the sense of you have to understand the market. You have to understand the intricacies of the actual transaction. You have to know what's legal, what's not, what you can cover, what you can't cover. When I say cover, I mean what's covered in the home in a transaction.
Yeah.
Certain things, if there's problems, okay, you can get out. Certain things you can't. Right. So you have to be able to cover your client's ass. How do you do that? Well, you got to make sure you just put the right clauses and stuff in, right? When you're writing up an offer, you got to protect them.
That's right.
You got to get an idea of where the market is going, right? Like earlier, before we started, you asked me, rates and stuff like that, right? So I pay attention to what's going on in the rates, but if you ask me, where do you think it's going to go? Like I have a general optimistic, positive approach, right?
Yeah.
But if you want to go too much into detail, I'm going to tell you, call your mortgage broker. I don't know. And quite frankly, it's not my place to know,
Yeah.
right? I specialize in this. I get you the best deal. So if you some people just want to talk.
Yes.
Right? Like if you want to talk and you want to chat and you want to have a real estate experience, I'm not your guy, right? Like I'm not your guy. Call somebody else. Okay. You want to chit chat. But if you actually want knowledge, information, no problem.
Yeah.
But you want to have a long-winded conversation so you can feel good about yourself and then tell your friends, yeah, I was on the phone with my agent. We talked about all sorts of things. Yeah, no, I'm not your guy, bro. Call my business partner. He loves to chat. Hey, he's a chatty catty.
We're going to get Seb on here for the next podcast.
Sure. Yeah.
The three of us can have a good chat.
Yeah. Yeah. You guys can chat.
All right. So, Hov, I want to take you back to the martial arts thing.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about discipline and confidence. How does martial arts teach you that? And what skills did you transfer into the real estate world?
So martial arts in general will help anybody and everybody. Okay. In anything that they do. It doesn't matter if you go into real estate, you go into finance, you go
Correct.
into anything you do. Why is it going to help you? Well, you're going to feel good about yourself. How do you feel good about yourself? Well, number one, you are learning an actual skill, an actual art, which is cool. Number two, you're learning how to defend yourself. So especially as a guy, for women, it's different. It's empowering. It's cool. It's a different type of confidence.
Yeah.
And that's a whole other level, right? But for guys, all guys should know how to fight. Okay. It is what it is, right? If you're a man, you're born a man, you're a man, you should know how to fight. If you want to be anything in between, that's cool too. You should still know how to fight.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why is that?
Because God forbid, if you're ever in a situation, you're getting picked on, you can stand up for yourself in a very respectful manner. Okay. If you're in a situation where somebody tries to hit you, you can actually defend yourself. Okay. If you're in a situation, you're out with somebody's trying to assault somebody else, rape somebody else, kidnap somebody else. If you're a bitch, bro, you ain't going to do nothing.
Yeah.
Okay. If you're somebody that could actually step up and defend someone, you could save somebody's life. You could change somebody's life. That's going to alter huge things for people, man.
But why do you say men versus everyone knowing it?
If you're a man,
Yeah.
you should be a protector. You should be a
There
caregiver.
you go.
Okay. That's what it's about. That's the real role of men.
Yeah.
Okay. Because at the end of the day, look, I got no qualms with women or everybody in between that's transitioning back and forth and whatever the fuck they want to do. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Okay. But at the end of the day, a woman is physiologically weaker. Okay. So if you're faced with a 280-pound man and you're a 110-pound woman, you're going to have a little bit of a challenge dealing with that. Okay. But if you're a 180-pound guy and a 280-pound guy comes to attack a woman and kidnap her, you could step in and help her.
Yeah.
Okay. And even though there's a big discrepancy, men are generally built a little bit bigger, a little bit thicker than women. So I don't know, man. To me, that it's your role to help. It's your role to protect. Right. Obviously, you go do it if it's the wrong person, if it's the woman's husband, or she's used to getting beat. Now you're the one that's going to catch a charge. That's a whole other issue.
Yeah.
Right. And that's an unfortunate situation, and we don't condone that sort of behavior, regardless. But hey, listen, you got to help somebody. You got to help somebody. So, going back to what I was saying, the martial arts gives you that confidence of knowing how to fight. Okay, that's huge. Okay, not to sound crude. All right. But like, let's say, and I've told this story or anecdote, whatever you want to call it, to a bunch of people. Okay. Let's say you're in a room. You're in the room with a billionaire, multi-billionaire, and the other guy, no, he's poor, but he knows how to fight. Okay. That guy, you can look that man in the eye and know that you can do absolutely anything you want to him. Okay. Yes, he can call the police. Yes, he can have you arrested after. Yes, he can hire people to shoot you and kill you. But in that moment, there is absolutely nothing that you can do. Okay. So that gives you a power over somebody else that money can't buy. So, and again, not to knock anybody with a lot of money. I want to be a billionaire. I will be a billionaire. And that's great. But at the end of the day, the more elements you have,
correct,
that make you feel good about yourself, the better life is, man. You wake up, you level up, and you just feel better about yourself.
You call that's confidence.
It's confidence. So learning how to fight brings one form of confidence. Okay?
Exactly. Yep.
Knowing that you can defend yourself is another type of confidence. And to me, they're different. Okay, knowing how to fight is like, okay, I could beat the shit out of somebody. Bang, 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 right? Yeah. 2 guys, 3 guys, 4 guys. No problem. You drop them all. Cool. That's one type of confidence. That you feel calm and collected, right? It's not an arrogant whatever. Yeah. It's like, yeah, I'm a fucking badass, right? Then knowing how to defend yourself. Knowing how to defend yourself means that you stay calm, you're not striking, you can diffuse a situation. If somebody's freaking out at you, swinging at you, you don't have to swing right away. So if you're practicing boxing, kickboxing, whatever martial art, and you're regularly sparring, somebody comes and starts throwing punches at you, you can avoid them, right? Yeah. You avoid 2-3 punches, all of a sudden the person decides, hey, wait a minute, maybe I don't want to hit this guy anymore, right? And they're not freaking out, they're not attacking me. What the fuck's going on here? Does he have a gun? Does he have friends? Is this the wrong guy? Oftentimes they calm down, right? So there's a clear distinction in my world, in my opinion, knowing how to fight, knowing how to defend yourself.
Yeah.
Okay. Then there's the whole discipline aspect of it, bro. Because you're going into a class, you're told what to do, and you gotta this also depends on the coach and the club and all that. But you can't talk, you can't leave. Like I got guys, they start drinking water in my class, like back in the day, especially. Like, what the fuck you doing, bro? Who told you to drink water? I'm thirsty. You fucking thirsty? What are you thirsty, bro? No. The whole class is doing burpees now, right? Whole class skipping 20 minutes, burpees 10 minutes, whatever, push-ups, squats. No, class is done. We're done now. You guys are all punished because this moron wanted to drink water. You could wait an hour. And if you can't, pass out. That's okay. Then you'll get some water. It's not the end of the world, bro. Yeah. You're going to be fine. If you have a major heart condition or something, cool, let me know ahead of time.
Yeah.
Okay? If you have hyperhidrosis and you sweat thoroughly and there's going to be a puddle under you, I'll see that. I'll suggest you have some water. But like to get up and go get a sip of water, no, fuck that, man. That's not happening. So what does that do? That teaches you discipline.
Yeah.
Okay? It makes you stronger. It makes you stronger mentally. It makes you stronger physically. Depending on what your job is. If you get a job as a carpenter, if you get a job as a bricklayer, you need to be physically strong. This will help you.
Yeah.
If you get a job as a negotiator, police negotiation, somebody's going to kill somebody, you're there, you're talking to somebody on the phone 3 hours. This will help you. Okay? So no matter what, it helps you in every regard.
Yeah.
And then there's also the social level. Okay? Because some people are shy and timid and they're a little bit of apprehension, social awkwardness, whatever it is. In these clubs, it's great because everybody talks to each other. There's nice people, cool people, weird people, funny people, abnormal people, right? Everything. And then everything goes. Like it's all because everybody's there for the same reason. Everybody's interested in the same thing. Yeah. So you don't really care where you're from, how you talk, what you look, right? Like, ha ha, he, cool. But like at the end of the day, everybody's there because they have a similar interest, right? And you get people from all walks of life. You get people with a lot of money, with no money. You get people from one side of the world, from the other side of the world. You get super squares, you get gangbangers, you get everybody.
Yeah.
So it's a nice place for people to come to. And then all of a sudden, like you're forced to talk. You have no choice. Like I don't mean in the class, right? When you talk out of line, it's a different story because I said earlier, don't talk, right? Yeah. But the instructor, depending on the class, they show you what to do. If you're partnered up, you're holding pads, you're doing some drills. Well, you have to talk with your person. You're supposed to communicate.
That's right.
Right? So it forces you to. And then after the class, somebody says, hey, man, good class. When are you coming next? Right? You're forced to have another conversation.
Yeah.
So it helps break that tension for a lot of people, which is cool. Right? So in my opinion, these are the 4 main pillars of how it brings you inner confidence. Right? Not to mention physically, that's a whole other issue.
Yep.
Right? You look good. I don't care what people say. Today in society, they say, oh, we don't fat shame. We don't do this. We don't do that. I got a big fucking problem with that, bro. Like, you don't have to fat shame, but if somebody's overweight, you call them out. Yo, bro, you gained some weight. What's going on?
Yeah.
I'm not shaming you.
But
like I'm telling
after
you,
somebody,
yeah, bro. Oh no, we need to accept everybody. Yeah, just because I tell you you're fat doesn't mean I don't accept you. You're fat. You're unhappy. You could be happier. I don't give a shit what anybody says. You take the same person that's fat and you take the same person that's lean. The lean person's happier, bro. Okay, if you do it in a healthy, regular way,
correct,
you're happier. And if you're happier, your quality of life goes up.
But it's also about helping people understand and realize that, hey, you know, you might be doing things that are unhealthy for you. You might have bad habits.
Yeah.
It's a form of helping. It's not necessarily shaming, but
I've gained weight at times, right? I remember I gained weight years back, but I had like health issues and stuff, whatever, right? And like, if you're used to looking a certain way, your brain doesn't really process it when you gain weight, right? Or you look and you say, oh, okay, I'll get back in shape anytime. It'll take me 2 weeks, right? And then it wasn't until one of my buddies saw me at the gym and like he giggled. He's a good friend of mine. Like, I know this guy from way back, right? And he giggled. He's like, holy shit, bro, you fucking fat. And I was like, what? He's like, what happened, bro? You okay? Is everything okay? Right? And it just, like, I looked in the mirror and I was like, holy fuck, he's right. I am fat. And like, what am I doing here, bro? Like, you know? So now, though, I'll tell you a funny story. There's this guy that works out of the gym. So now I'm very regular at the gym again and everything and all that. Cool. I got health under control, which is great. And like when I'm at the gym, generally I like to go alone. Okay. And I like to like bang out my workouts hard. I don't want to talk. People want to talk to me. Like I'll chit chat in between my breaks. And then once my break is over and I time my breaks.
That's right.
Like my music's on, bro. I don't give a fuck what you're saying. Hold. Right. Like I'm there for me.
Yeah.
Right. So I look around in between sets. I try not to stare at anybody for too long because I don't want to make eye contact. I don't want to have a conversation. But at the same time, if somebody wants to talk to me, like I don't want to be rude or disrespectful, especially some people you want to help, they have questions and that's cool, right?
You don't want to be an asshole.
Not too much of an asshole, but like you also want to take care of yourself, right? So anyways, so I noticed the regulars in the gym. Yeah. And there was this one guy, he gained quite a bit of weight. This guy was pretty jacked, right? And he would work out with his girlfriend. Okay, so it'd be him and his girlfriend, and like sometimes they would be doing similar exercises. Sometimes she'd be doing her own thing, and then, like you couldn't miss these two. Like they'd be making out on the set. This guy would be doing bench press. She's on his lap. Like bogus shit. I think it's funny, right? I don't give a shit. Like it's cool, bro. If that's what motivates you, great. Like you look like a fool in one way, but like who the fuck cares, right? Each their own. So this guy starts gaining weight. I noticed she's not sitting on his lap and doing sets and stuff, right? In fact, I noticed her being chatted up with some other guys in the gym here and there. Like, I'm sure it was nothing too whatever, right? Or maybe it was, who knows, right?
That's right.
So I walk up to this guy. I don't know who the fuck he is, right? And like, he thinks he's a tough guy. And like, he's a big dude, but like, he ain't no tough guy, right? And I walk up to him and I grabbed his wrist. I go, hey, bro. I go, you're not looking so good these days. Right? And he looked at me. He was about to get defensive. I go, you've gained some weight, man. And I go, relax. I go, I'm not attacking you. I go, you looked great 3-4 months ago. I go, you're slacking a bit now, man. I go, I'm letting you know because I've been in the same situation where I gained weight. Nobody told me. I go, so, you know, I go, that's it, right? And he looked at me and he went from like he wanted to rage to he calmed down. And like he thought about it for a second, and I'm just like, am I supposed to walk away now? Like, what the fuck am I supposed to do, right?
The awkward pause.
And he's like, he goes, oh, I'm trying to bulk. You're not trying to bulk. And that's okay, right? But I appreciated that because he took it in. Yeah. I realized that he took it in. He didn't want to look too stupid, right? He should have just said, yeah, you're right, man. Okay, cool. But like, I'm trying to bulk. That's good enough. You acknowledged it, and that's huge. Anyway, I saw him the next week, the week after that, he started leaning out again. He started looking better again, right? So like, it's better for him, bro, right? It's better for everybody. It's better for him. It's better for his girlfriend. They're happier together. She's happier. She can sit on his lap again. They could do bench press and do whatever the fuck they want, right? Cause a scene at the gym and it's all good.
Yeah.
So anyways.
I want to now take you to a point where, you know, we talked about this and again, for everybody out there, we've had previous conversations about this. Take us back to a time where you went through the dark times, right?
Wow.
You came across some health issues.
Yeah.
Obviously.
So I'll tell you a couple of things, man.
Yeah.
And like I reflect now, right? I reflect on my life. The one thing people talk about mental health and all
Yeah.
that, and that's cool, right? It's cool, but like it's thrown around like a useless fucking horror, right?
Exactly.
I don't believe in mental health. I believe in chemical health.
Okay.
Okay.
Good.
Mental health is a rare thing that actually affects very, very, very few and rare people. Okay, in my opinion, this is all my opinion, right? And I'll define what I mean. Chemical health. People call mental health. I believe it should be called chemical health. It's what your chemical levels are at.
Exactly.
Your hormonal levels, what you're doing, what's in your blood, how you're feeling, this and that. Everything is chemistry, bro. So
that's where I wanted to go.
Yeah. So people, the general consensus these days, anxiety. Anxiety is a big problem. A lot of people have. Okay, cool. You have anxiety. Well, what do you do for your anxiety? What do you eat? Right? How much coffee do you consume? How much caffeine do you consume?
Yes.
Do you exercise? Do you sleep well? Right? Do you do things that calm your nervous system? Are you staring at your phone? Is your filter on? Because you can put a filter on these phones. Because these phones, if you don't, like I got an iPhone, if you don't turn on that filter, like it's known to cause anxiety because it's that blue light.
Yes.
Right? All these things trigger your nervous system. Okay? Are you playing video games before bed? Are you watching certain movies? Are you doing this? Are you doing that? Are you thinking about this? Are you thinking about that? Right? All these things create anxiety, fuel your anxiety. I'll talk to people, oh my God, I'm so fucking anxious, this and that. First thing I tell them is, oh, okay, stop drinking coffee. I can't do that. Oh, okay, cool. Well, you're a fucking idiot. So this conversation is over now. You know what I mean? Like it's that simple, right? You suffer from anxiety. So anyways, I've been, and I credit my parents for this, right? I've been very chemically stable most of my life, right? There's really only been 3 times where I haven't been. And it's been bad times for me. And it's really self-induced, right? And one of them was, and like we were training and stuff back then. I was addicted to these pre-workouts. And I would take like 10 scoops a day, man. You remember when you were taking that NO shotgun stuff?
Yes.
The kids were dying in the States and all that, then you stopped. Like I would drink that like it was water, bro. And it was just incredible. That stuff was crazy, man. But you get into a vicious cycle. So I would take 10 scoops a day of pre-workout. Now I'm as productive as fucking madness, right? Because you don't have to sleep. You don't have to do anything. You don't get tired. But on top of that, I was drinking all the caffeine, right? So I'd have like 8-9 cups of coffee a day. Okay, then you pop a couple of fat burners just for shits and giggles. You throw in a Rockstar or NOS energy drink. Now you're a walking ball of anxiety. But I was so used to physical stress from all the training, the sparring, the fighting, right?
Yeah.
That like I liked it, right? It's like I was in the ring 24/7, so it was cool. It's cool until it's not cool.
That's right.
It's cool until all of a sudden, like your mind starts playing tricks on you, right? And you can't calm down, you can't relax. And I remember one day I lost 13 pounds in a day, bro, from just sweating because my heart wouldn't stop beating. My heart. Douche, 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 douche. I remember I lied down and I looked down at my chest and I could see my heart beating through my shirt, bro. It was crazy. And the strangest things start going through your mind, right? And you feel like you're in a stranger's body, right? And you got to understand, I'm a guy that, for those, like this was before I was 30, but like 25 years of my life, whatever it is, like you're fucking rock solid, bro. You know what I mean? Like nothing, like I was like a boulder. You couldn't move me. I didn't care, right? I knew who I was. I knew how I was built. And I had that inside of me, right? But then all of a sudden, it's like you're in a stranger's body. And trust me, bro, you don't want to live like that, right? And that's what people don't realize. Like people talk, oh, this guy killed himself, that guy killed himself, and they frown upon it, right? You shouldn't frown upon that. Like it's a very sad and tragic thing. But at the end of the day, you got to understand that somebody is in such a dark, dark place that there is no hope. And like hope is such a fleeting thing. Like it's so easy to find, right?
Yeah.
For you to have zero hope that you take your own life, man, that's not something that you should frown upon. That's something on that person. You should frown upon yourself for not recognizing that, for not being able to see that, because those people are looking for hope. And even a smile will change that person's day. You could save somebody's life just for opening the door and saying hi.
You got it.
And it's crazy, man, because nobody wants to, right? So anyway, so all that happened, and not to say that I was suicidal at the time, but like, strange thought, because you say to yourself, I don't want to live like this.
Yep.
Right. And then, well, what's the alternative? If you don't come back, then you got to live like this. You either got to learn or you got to do something else. Right. So that was the first time I ever had like a mental tweak. And then after that, I realized, okay, holy fuck. Like I went to the hospital because I thought I had a heart attack and whatever, right? And then when they admitted me, it was so funny. Like it was February, it was middle of a snowstorm. I'm in a t-shirt, sweating profusely, like jacked veins everywhere, right? And I walk in and a triage nurse is like, are you okay? What are you doing here? And I'm like, hi, right? And she's looking at me like I'm a crackhead because I probably look like one. And I'm like, yeah, I've been taking this powder. It's really fucking up my head. I don't feel so good, right? And like they hear powder, they think you're on cocaine,
Yeah.
right? Okay, what are you feeling? And I started laughing hysterically, right? So now she thought I was ridiculing her, right? So she was about to get mad. Then I start crying, bro, right? So I'm in the middle of a merge, laughing, crying, in a t-shirt, in a snowstorm, sweating, vascular as hell, right? Freaking out. So she realized, like, yeah, this guy's a nutbag, right? So anyway, they
That's
took,
not from the powder, by the way.
well, there's a little bit of natural in there, but yeah. So they took me in. The doctor came eventually, did some blood work, this, that, whatever. We were talking to the doctor, and he thought I was coked out. He thought I was on juice and all that. And then I told him no. Like I told him this is what it is, and then I told him I'm having like all this pre-workout, all this caffeine. And he looked at me. He's like, "What the hell's wrong with you?" He goes, "You're in like the health industry." He goes, "You're killing yourself, right?" And then the funny thing is when you're that high on adrenaline, you're not hungry. Okay, so you don't eat. Right. So now you're getting zero nutrients. You're getting all these stimulants. You're getting zero nutrients. Plus, I used to pop like Benadryl and NyQuil to go to sleep because I couldn't go to sleep. Right. So like I would sleep maybe 2-3 hours on that stuff.
Yeah.
And then boom, you wake up. It's like 5:30, 6, 7. It's like, okay, let me get some more pre-workout. Get the day started. Right. So yeah, so that kind of opened my eyes, right? And then that opened my eyes, and then I cut down on everything. I cut out the pre-workout completely. I cut caffeine out for like 6-7 months. Doctor had a chat with me, like I took it in, right? And then you fast forward. Now I found something else. Fast forward 5-6 years, I started taking this sulfur supplement, okay, and it's actually very, very good for you in small doses for small periods of time. So I'm a very extreme person. I can't do anything light. Right.
You're not normal. Yeah.
So I started taking extremely high amounts of that stuff for years. And then that caused gastrointestinal issues. That caused me I needed cataract surgery, burned my eyes. Right. I'm not going to get into all the science about it and behind it and stuff. Right. But yeah, like I remember like the night before my cataract surgery, like I was 30 something and I'm getting cataract surgery. The doctor thought I was a crackhead. They all thought I was a crackhead. Funny story, but whatever. And I said to myself, like, what am I doing here? How did I get here? How did I do this to my eyes? Right. And it's so funny, bro, because it's like an angel whispered into my ears. And I realized it's that stuff I'm taking. So I immediately cut it out. Right. And then anyway, but the damage had been done. So my whole gastrointestinal tract, I had digestive problems, this and that. And then my thyroid was acting wonky because of all this, right? And so I got the cataract surgery and all that. My vision came back. It's great. Everything's beautiful, right? But then now the doctor's like, oh, you got to take these thyroid medications. I didn't know what the fuck it was. I'm like, all right, cool. Give it to me, right? And me being the person that I am, so I start taking them. I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool, right? You feel something. I like feeling energized. But at that point, my whole gastrointestinal system had been so trashed that I was eating like shit. I didn't want to train anymore because I was too tired. I was lethargic all the time, right? And it started affecting my thyroid and whatever. So the doctor gives me these pills. I start popping these thyroid pills. I start feeling a little bit better. Instead of stopping and looking at what I'm eating, how I'm living my lifestyle, buddy, I was popping these pills like candy, right? And I took them, I don't know, like a year or two maybe, right? And like I upped my dose, and it's really bad. Like my poor doctor, I would call him and like I'd pretend like I'm dying. Oh, dog, I don't feel so good. And then like I'd get up to up my dose. Sometimes I would pretend like I lost a vial of the pills, right? So I was doubling up, tripling up, right? Yeah, it was bad. It was bad. So I remember it was Easter Sunday a couple years ago, right? And I was sitting with my parents at the house, right? And I was watching one of the previous John Wick movies, right? 2 or 3, I can't remember. And I'm sitting there watching this movie, bro. And like all of a sudden I started feeling fucked up, right? So I left the room and I'm like, holy fuck, like I'm about to have an anxiety attack, right? And for me, it had been meant like I had been feeling fucked up for like a few years at that point. Like the whole time I was on those pills, I was feeling fucked up, right? But I hadn't felt like that until like prior to that was when I was taking the excessive amounts of the pre-workout.
Yep.
Right. So it like all of a sudden, like I'm thinking to myself, holy shit, man, I've been in street fights, real fights, this fight, that fight. I've seen all sorts of strange shit. And now I can't even fucking watch a movie where a guy's killing a bunch of dudes. Holy fuck, what's going on? Right. That's what I was saying to myself. And I was trying to understand. And I said to myself, like I had enough awareness to say, okay, well, hang on a minute. Let's see what's different. What am I doing? And I realized the only thing that's really different prior to that, like maybe like a month or 2 or 3 months, I had really upped my dose on those meds, right? And my doctor told me not to. He didn't want me to, but I said, fuck it, like whatever, right? And I was taking an excessively high dose. And I realized, holy shit, man, it's these pills. So then I actually started reading up about it, what the side effects can be. And like my doctor told me, it may cause anxiety. You don't want to take too much. And I ignored him. Yeah. Right. Thinking like, oh, I can deal with it. Like I've been fighting in the ring, this, that, the streets, whatever. Right. And you can, it's cool. And it's almost like that type of, it's not anxiety, that's adrenaline. So I've realized now to differentiate between anxiety and adrenaline. Don't do things that cause anxiety. Do things that boost adrenaline, right? And naturally boost it, not through chemical compound, because that leads to anxiety. You may get a little bit of an adrenaline rush.
That's right.
But then it leads to anxiety as a side effect, right? So I realized, holy shit, it's these pills. I called my doctor the next day and he's like, yeah, he goes, stop taking them, right? And it just went from bad to way worse, bro. Way worse. And you want to talk about dark time, like what I went through prior to that, before what I said, oh man, night and day, man. I couldn't speak. I couldn't form words. I sounded like I was a 90-year-old dying man, okay? I felt like I was going invisible. My whole system was shutting down. And it's crazy because I learned a lot about different things, right? So I learned something about spotlighting, okay? And what's spotlighting? So when you're feeling anxious and depressed and you have no reason to be, your mind starts finding reasons for it. And this is why I say there's a difference between mental health and chemical health. When you're chemically off, it's funny because your mind tries to make sense out of it, right? To rationalize, to understand. But that only leads to more fuckery, right? Because there's nothing wrong in your life. You just consumed too much shit, or at least I did, that fucked me up. And now I'm finding reasons to justify it. No, you're chemically off. You're chemically off. That's what it is. You took a pill, you took a substance, you took whatever, and you fucked yourself up, unfortunately. Right? But it's hard to say that and believe it and forget about it because your mind because like, listen, we're trained, we grow, something bad happens, you think about it, right? Yeah. And you associate feelings with scenarios and situations, right? And now, generally speaking, you have, when you're younger especially, and like your body's clean and your mind or whatever, you have a scenario first, then you're faced with the feeling. So scenario happens, then you feel happy, sad, anxious, whatever the case may be. But now I'm feeling super anxious, depressed, fucked up, but nothing has happened. So now your mind tries to make sense out of the whole thing. So that's what's called spotlighting, right? And I learned about this. So I started thinking about things. I was spotlighting issues or problems or things, right? But then it's like, well, wait a minute, this wasn't a problem a month ago. Why is it a problem now? Right? So you try to rationalize. No, it's not that. That's not a problem. It's the pills. It's the medication. It's this. It's that. Right? But it's tough, man. It's really, really, really tough. And it took me, I would say, like 6 months to come back to a somewhat normal version of myself. And like I had all sorts of strange shit going through my mind, man. Like things I don't want to say because I don't want to get arrested or whatever, better right? Not to say. Yeah. But like I was not well, bro. I was not well, but I still hung on to that hope that I'm going to be. Yeah. Right. And then I said to myself, when that happened, I said to myself, holy shit. Right at the beginning, I said, holy shit. Okay. Look, I'm really fucked up. I asked the doctor, I go, how long is this going to take? He goes, 6 months to a year to feel normal. And I was like, holy fuck, man. Are you joking? Because I thought like a week or two, I'll feel normal, right? I didn't know the severity of what it was that I was taking. And I spoke to a couple other doctors. We have like doctors in the family and stuff, right? And they told me, they're like, yeah, man, no. They're like, there's nothing you can do. This is not like caffeine. You drink water and you flush it out. Like you are chemically fucked up. And it's going to take a while for things to level out. And then it's going to take a while for your nervous system to realize like, this is what it is, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, it was crazy, man. It was crazy. But that's when I realized, okay, cool. Well, I want to get through this as fast as possible. And I know I can. I know what caused it. I know what did it. So it's not something that's going to affect me in my life. So overnight, I changed all my habits, bro. My eating went to like immaculate immediately. And what's my definition of immaculate? So I said, okay, anything that's processed, anything that's bad is only going to make this detox last longer. So I cut it all out, right? No processed foods, no sugars, no bread, no nothing, no grain. And that stuff would affect me negatively because of the gastrointestinal problems
Correct.
from before, right? So I didn't want to do anything that was going to put strain on my system. So overnight, I cut it all out. At that point, like I stopped drinking, not that I drink much, right? But I stopped drinking, period. Because again, that causes inflammation, does this, does that, right? I just wanted to make my system as happy and as relaxed as possible, right? And then I got back into a proper training schedule, right? 5 days a week, I started training again. And even if I didn't want to go, I would drag my ass, man. And then I would wake up and listen, some days I would wake up, I don't want to get out of bed, I don't want to move, but I would eventually. Because I told myself, well, it's only going to be worse at the end of the day if you're still here.
Yeah.
So get up. Right? I cut out, like I barely was drinking coffee at that point anyway, but I'd have a little bit of caffeine here and there. I cut all that out immediately. So no caffeine, no juice, no sugars, no nothing, no bread, no processed food, no deep fried food at the time, right? I would go work out regularly. I would go see a couple of traditional Chinese medicine practitioners, right? And like just do stuff like that, breathing exercises, right? I'd go for walks. And like people would see me and they knew, like I had a few friends that like would regularly call me because they thought like I was going to go kill myself, right? They would see me and they're like, it looks like you have no soul in your eyes, man. And it literally felt like my soul was just like dying, disappearing, dimming, right? And it's like, oh man, like even physiological side effect symptoms from taking those pills and
right.
Like there's a lot of other things, right? Like you start hearing voices, you start questioning what's real, right? A lot of fucked up shit.
But how do you, a lot of questions around this for me.
Yeah.
How do you just bounce back and overnight you say, I'm going to develop these positive habits and stay determined and not relapse because, you know, you're so used to this adrenaline and the energy and the high. How do you just stop that all of a sudden? Like, what do you have to tell yourself and how do you convince yourself that this is what you need to do?
Well, like it's very simple, bro. Like people say it's complicated, it's hard. It's really not, right? You just don't do it because it feels like shit. You remind yourself, okay, cool. You're gonna take something, you're gonna feel good for a bit.
Yeah.
But the negative side effects of not feeling good outweigh the good, bro. I'm sorry to say, right? And I remembered, this is the thing. A lot of people will start poisoning their bodies early, okay? And they don't get into adulthood and realize how good you could feel. They think they need that poison. So I reminded myself, listen, man, you were younger. You ate well, you slept well, you trained well, right? And you felt like a fucking king, okay? Like I would walk into places, I legit felt like a king, like a fucking warlord, bro. And that's a wonderful feeling, okay? And that in itself is an adrenaline boost, right? Being able to train properly is an adrenaline boost.
Yeah.
All these things, feeling good, going to bed at night. I used to tell people, like, you know you're good in life when you can be in your room alone, late at night, dark, raining, stormy night, and you're in bed and you're so content and satisfied with life, right? That is a form of adrenaline boosting exercises, right? Feeling good is so amazing, man. And people forget how good it is to feel good naturally, okay? And that's the biggest thing because there's so many stimulants, there's so many poisons, there's so much that affects us and we think we need them. I don't drink caffeine. I barely drink, okay? I'll drink alcohol if I'm with friends and stuff like that. No problem. You want to get fucked up, you want to have a couple of drinks, cool. But like, that's different. I don't do it to feel good. I do it because I already feel good and we're out. And then I feel even better because I'm having a great time, right? But again, even that I don't do often. But you eat clean, you don't eat shit, you exercise, and you try to sleep a little bit okay, and you surround yourself with good people, bro, you walk around happy as a pig in shit, right? And this is what people don't realize. But they think getting to that level is so hard. Oh, no, I can't do that. It's so hard. It's such an inconvenience. No, it's not. Why is it an inconvenience?
Because it's hard.
It's not. No, it's not.
It's out of your comfort zone.
But it's so easy. But the funny thing is, it's not out of anybody's comfort zone. You were born this way. This is what you were born to be.
But they're so accustomed to this crap now.
But it's so easy to get away from it. It's all bullshit excuses. So how did I do it? I just told myself, I want to be happier. I want to live a better quality of life. It's that simple. Like, there's no other choice. You got to be real with yourself. Do you want to be in a good mood? Do you want to feel happy? Do you want to not complain? Yeah. Do you want to be a fucking warlord walking around the city? If the answer is yes, okay, cool. So then you got to do this, and you can't do that.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
But you also have, going back to your MMA days, where you built that discipline, where you can go back to it and realize, hey, I need to change this. And those habits you can build through the discipline.
For sure.
Some people don't have that discipline. It's very hard for them to get that discipline.
People lie to themselves, bro.
That's it.
People lie to themselves.
That's exactly what it is.
Okay, so when you lie, and this is why I think like it's important sometimes for people to get beaten up, because you can't lie to yourself after you get beaten up, right? But we're not going to talk about that. But you go in the ring, when you're doing martial arts, when you're training, you're getting beaten up. No matter what, you're going to get beaten up. Whether you're getting beaten up mentally, physically, or actually getting hit, you're getting beaten up. Somebody's beating you up, right? And you can't lie to yourself. Okay, you're told you're not doing it right. You're doing it wrong. Do it this way. Good, that's better. You didn't do enough push-ups. You didn't do enough sit-ups. You can't. I did. You fucking stupid, bro. No, you didn't. Bang, the whole class. Now everybody's gonna do more, right? So people lie to themselves every day. Mm-hmm. And how do they lie to themselves? Okay, well, I'm gonna start eating clean tomorrow. No, you're not. You're lying. You just lied to yourself. Okay, I'm gonna go to bed early tonight. No, you're not. You're lying again. I'm going to be truthful today. No, you're not. You're lying. I'm going to tell people that they're bothering me. No, you're not. You're lying. Everybody lies to themselves. So it becomes such a habit, and it becomes so easy to lie to yourself. Yep. And there's no consequence. Because you know why? You're going to say, oh, well, this guy, that guy, they all lie to themselves. Oh, Hov's the only one that's not lying to himself. Well, that's okay. Fuck, Hov's a bit extreme. But like this guy, all these guys I know, they lie to themselves, and they seem like they're okay. Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, then go fuck yourself, bro. Because you're not going to get anywhere. Because you're lying to yourself. Now, none of us are perfect. I make mistakes. You make mistakes. We all do silly things. Sometimes I miss workouts, right? But like at the end of the day, you got to be real, man. You got to be real with what you want and what you're going to do to get it. Sometimes you have to do things. Sometimes it's holding back from doing other things.
That's right.
Right? And you just can't lose the vision of your goal, of either what you want or who you want to be. Okay, you need to have a clear-cut vision of who you want to be, who you see yourself as, and where you want to go. And then once you do that, it's super easy, bro. Right? It's super easy because you always remind yourself.
That's right.
That's all you got to do. And then you got to say, okay, well, what's more important? This piece of chocolate cake that I want to eat, or being this mentally disciplined, strong person? And then, okay, cool. One piece of chocolate cake, whatever. But then you stop yourself. Well, hang on a minute. It's not just one piece of chocolate cake. Let's analyze it. So it's sugar. It's not good for your brain. Okay, we all know that. So that's going to affect your brain chemistry. It's going to make you fat. It's going to make you tired. So it's going to make you less productive. It's going to make you look worse.
Yes.
It's going to make you feel like shit.
Yep.
So how is that good? How is it good in any way, bro?
It's instant gratification.
But like it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Because it tastes good?
Yeah.
Are you fucking crazy, bro? So now the beautiful part is,
so I mean, instant gratification,
bro. But you remember, I used to have a sweet tooth. I used to love sweets and junk food and all this and all that. Yeah. And I think back and I tell myself, what a fucking loser, bro, for being that way. I wish I ate this way my whole life, man. Yeah. Not only would I be in way better shape, but like I'd be even stronger mentally, right? But then again, it's okay because you live and learn. You do these things, you grow, right? So I embrace all my experiences, good and bad, right? Mm-hmm. And the one thing, bro, when I was I go through these tough times, and for me, like it was those 3 points. Like the stuff with the sulfur I said, like that was a little bit less minor, but those were the 3 points, right, where I felt that way. And every time I would say to myself, embrace the suffering, because through suffering you will grow. Okay, and that's what it is. And like at the end of the day, if you're a rock hard, stable type of person, unfortunately, you do have to go through these extreme things to really grow, to really evolve.
Absolutely.
Right? And the first time I did it, it helped me realize, because people would tell me, oh, I have anxiety, I have this, I have that, I'm depressed. And I'd look at them And like outwardly, I'd be like, oh, okay, I hope you feel better. I would try to help them talk it out. In my mind, I'd be like, what the fuck is wrong with you, bro? Like, fucking snap out of it, you know? Because for me, that's how it was. For me, the first 25, almost 30 years of my life, if I had a bad day, I'd be over it by the next day. Why? Because I had no coffee. I ate good food. I exercised regularly. I slept. I had great friends. I had good habits. I was productive, right? That's another big thing. People are not productive. You got to be productive, bro.
Yep.
Right? And like, listen, teaching martial arts and stuff, it's great gratification. You're helping people. People will come up to me every day. Oh, man, thank you so much. I got into a street fight. Your moves helped me. I didn't beat the guy up too bad, but like it was good. Girls would come up to me. Oh, my God, I feel so good. I lost some weight. I picked up, this guy picked me up, whatever. I feel so sexy. Thank you so much. I remember I had one guy, he was a blimp when he came to the class. Less than a year later, he leaned out. He was a virgin. Oh, I had sex for the first time. Oh my God, I'm so happy, man. I owe you everything. I love fucking, right? Like, so like it's cool, bro, right? All these things are cool. You feel productive. You feel like you're helping, you're giving back. And that's huge, man. Yep. Huge. And the better you feel,
the better you can make
the more you can do for other people. Yep. Right. And the more you do for other people, and it's not even like, I'm not even trying, right? But like, if you're in a shitty mental state, you're teaching a class, you're all fucked up, like people are not going to gain as much.
They feed off your energy.
Bingo. Right. Bingo. Right.
That's why they say stay away from negative people.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, awesome.
Man. So we've reached the end of the show, but before we close it out, we've hit the segment where I call rapid fire questions.
Oh, wow.
So I'll ask you some series of questions, and the first thing that comes to your mind.
Cool.
And nothing dirty, please.
Okay.
What have you learned about yourself throughout your journey?
I'm a very extreme person, and I should work on balancing myself, but I love the extremes, man.
Good. What is your advice to young people who fear to do something?
Find a coach. In every single avenue, not only in the things that you fear, find a coach in anything you want to go into. Go hire somebody, pay them a little bit of money. It's going to be worth it because they're going to save you time, effort, and heartache and headache, and they will accelerate you faster. That's one piece of advice I wish somebody gave me.
Awesome. That's a great advice. What is the best advice that you've ever received in life?
Oh, fuck. Suck it up. Suck it up and move on. You're stronger than this. That's probably the best advice I've ever received.
Yep. What's a message that you'd like to share with young professionals?
Message to share with young professionals. Enjoy what you're doing. Embrace it. Become it. If you want to succeed, if you're a professional and you want to stay in that field or whatever field, embrace it. Become the best version of what it is that you're doing.
Awesome. What are you most grateful for?
Family, support of good friends, and life in general, man. But like those things, and funny enough, like the suffering, right? Because that's when you really, really appreciate everything in life.
Awesome. And where can people find you?
You can't find me, bro. You can't find me. Leave me the fuck alone, bro. No, you can find me Instagram. We're Ballin Realtors. Me and my business partner. My email is hov@ballin.ca. I'm not going to give my phone number out. You can text me, whatever, but
I'll put it out.
Yeah, cool.
All right. Awesome.
I appreciate having you.
So thank you so much again for being on the podcast today. We're definitely going to do another one of these.
Cool.
Hopefully if I don't get canceled because of you. But again, thank you to everyone out listening. I greatly appreciate you guys tuning in. If you've got any questions for Hovig, drop it in the box below and I'll make sure it gets to him or you know where to find him. Again, tune in, and we'll see you in the next episode. Take care, everybody.
See you.